everyone, it's Monique Jacobs with Open Gate Quilts. Happy Thanksgiving. I know tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so we're not going to do a long video tonight. We're going to do kind of short because of Thanksgiving, and I know everybody's either getting ready to eat all that great food, getting that food ready, or traveling, or whatever. So I don't want to take too much of your time. You can always view the video after as well. And then, of course, make sure you say hi to Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
And also, what we always say, comment, share, and like. And tonight we are going to start our motif / T-shirt quilt. So I'm going to go over what you need to do to get started on it. Next week we'll finish it, and then we're going to start on our next project because the T-shirt quilt doesn't take too long to do, so we'll have plenty of time to start at least getting the fabrics ready for our next quilt. And tonight for our giveaway, what we are doing, you know, I always do a free pattern giveaway to someone who comments, shares, and so the free pattern is, Mark, if you could just turn it this way, and I'll talk about it. This is called Christmas Trees for Sale, and this quilt is the one that the pattern I'm giving away as a PDF to one lucky person, so make sure you comment. We will pick it after. Does everybody else do this when they see a thread on a quilt? They throw it on the floor. Pick it up and throw it on the floor. This is such a great quilt just because it goes really quick. It's a great Christmas present if you want to do some Christmas presents. What it is it's just squares and strips, and then we've got snowball blocks in here. So it goes really quick. Then it's got our borders on it. And how I picked the fabric is I chose my borders first, and instead of going with the traditional red, I chose the pink because I'm a pink girl. I love my pink. So I went ahead and used the pink in there. You could do this in any color scheme. You could do it in gold, you could do it in green and red, you can do it whatever you want. I've seen it in many different colors, and it's just beautiful, and it's a great quick wall hanging. So remember I said we're going to decide what we're going to do next week? Well, this is one of the options. This is the Christmas Trees for Sale pattern. We can do this as a wall hanging, or we can do, Mark, come down to here. We can do this. Talk about bossy wife, huh? He's used to it. This is a reversible table runner, and the cool thing about it is that on the front or the back, depending on which way you look at it, you've got your Christmas trees, and on the other side you have your candy corn. And the neat thing is they're exactly the same block, except for the trees have the stem of the tree, where the candy corns do not. And it's laid out the same way. It's got your sashing between it, and then your pieces, and it's a little easier to see on this side, but you've got your rows that you do, and you just rotate the blocks. It's not paper pieced, it is actually strip pieced and trimmed, so I'll show you guys how to do that. So this is an option for you if you want to do this one or this one, or if you really want to do both, let me know. So that's the vote. We're either going to do the wall hanging, the table runner, or both, and we'll just fit those in there before Christmas.
Let's be adventurous. Let's do both.
We've got 4 more weeks, right? Is that how many? I don't know. I've got my Christmas tree up. I'm good. So those are 2 options. So vote 1, 2, or both. All right. I also have a pattern that I did for Craftsy, and I just wanted to show you to see how much obviously I like Christmas trees, because a lot of my Christmas patterns have trees in it. This is called O Tannenbaum. It is no longer on Craftsy. It actually was a panel that they had in the center, and what they had done is they had sent me the pictures of the quilt and asked me to come up with a pattern for it. So I put the panel in the center, and then I pieced the ribbons on the outside, and then came back on this outside next border with the friendship stars, and then came back with the border. So this is a great wall hanging too, or lap quilt. It's quite large. If you do not have a panel that fits in it, you could always piece something in it, or find a really cool print, because I think this print here would be really pretty in the center too. And it would actually make a really pretty tablecloth as well. So there are some options for you if you are looking for another wall hanging / lap quilt / table, whatever you want to do. So this is called O Tannenbaum. This is not on my website, but I will get it on. And this one is not on my website, and I will get it on as well. This one is on sale this week. Remember, I always do a sale. This is $6.99, and this one's regular, and it might be on sale in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out on it.
So be good to Santa, kids.
Good to Santa Monique. So that's what I wanted to show you. Next thing we're going to talk about is, well, let's see. What do we want to talk about? Thanksgiving, food, questions. There we go. We always need some questions. So it looks like a lot of people are watching tonight, which is awesome.
Lots of people saying Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody too. You know, it's funny because I'm actually Canadian, and I've lived in the U.S. for more than half of my life, so 30-something years. And so we don't say ages. So the Canadians' Thanksgiving is in October on Columbus Day. And for the first probably 10 years while I was here, we would do both Thanksgiving. And after a while, that got a little tiring because you have to do the turkey and the stuffing and the pies and all that stuff. So now we just do the one.
I see no problem with this.
I see no problem with it, except I'm the one that had to make it all. So now I'm like, forget it. One time's enough. And actually, I'm getting away with not doing it because tomorrow we are going into Chicago and they're going to cook for us. So those are the quilts. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure that you guys be safe and have a great time. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to start getting your t-shirt prep for the quilt. I did post the instructions, and it's under the quilt along. So remember, this is what I posted last week that has the t-shirt / motif quilt, the supply list. And then now, this I posted now, it'll be a separate picture on there, and you can just print it off. If you have trouble printing it, let me know and I can send it to you. The setting is pretty simple. It's straight set, and you've just got your squares. The reason I like to do a simpler quilt when I'm doing a t-shirt quilt is because you really want to see your t-shirt or your motif, and that's what people are interested in. The piecing's great, but they really want to see what, it's all very sentimental to them, so that's why I chose to make big squares out of it. So again, I'm doing this for my nephew. He is a big Winnipeg Jets fan. So this is what I got, and it's a flannel, so it'll be a nice, cozy, warm Winnipeg quilt because, you know, it's nice and cold up in Winnipeg. So what I will do is I'm going to cut these out, and I'll show you how I do that, but I wanted to show you the t-shirts first because I know a lot of people are interested in that. Now here is a t-shirt that I got, and I'm a little too fat for it. So see, I say that, so Mark will say, "No, you're not, honey." See, it's a test. It's always a test, right?
Hopefully nothing happens to the band here and like they break up or something because they're cutting up their t-shirts.
Oh my gosh, right? That would be
Dave Grohl, if you're watching this, we apologize. But you're making something very cool out of it.
Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, Dave Grohl is the lead singer for Foo Fighters, and Mark and I like our rock music. So I know I'm sorry to cut this up, but I'm going to have to do it in the sake of quilts. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this up along my seam, because what I want is I want to get this so that I have as much space as possible. And like I said, I want you to measure all your shirts. If your shirts happen to be bigger than 10.5 inch, because we're going to square this down to 10.5 inch, let me know. I can help you recalculate it to make it a little bigger. Some shirts have larger. Sometimes you can just even cut that off a little bit. Cut a little bit of your logo off. Now that's when Dave Grohl's going to be mad at us for cutting his logo off, but we're not going to with him. So, all right. So here we go. We've got our shirt ready to go. And then what I did was I cut that fusible interfacing. It is called, I just got to review because I can't remember here. It's the Pellon Shape Flex. So I cut it into a 12-inch square. The reason I cut it into 12 inch is that I'm going to fuse it on the back and then I'm going to square it up so I know exactly the size I need. So that's why I made sure I have plenty of space. So I'm going to take it. Now here, with the fusible, there's a rough side and a smooth side. You want to fuse it onto the rough side goes down towards your fabric. Why do you use fusible, you ask? The reason is...
I want to know.
that T-shirt quilts are very stretchy. And if you don't put some kind of fusible stabilizer on it, when you go to piece it or to quilt it, it's going to gather and cause a lot of trouble. So you need some kind of stabilizer. If you don't want to use the Shape Flex, or if you want to use something else, just as long as it is strong enough that it will hold it down in place. So now I noticed too that we've got, you see how it's stretchy here and not as stretchy here? And then on this is stretchy here and not so stretchy here. I would put the not stretchy along the stretchy of the t-shirt.
How does that go again?
The not stretchy along the stretchy of the t-shirt. 4 days, ladies. Okay, so I'm going to put, the reason is, let's talk about why I'm doing this. He has nothing to say either. Okay, so I've got a stretchy going here. I'm going to put the edge that doesn't stretch on the same as the not stretchy, so that if this stretches a bit, this won't. If this stretches, this won't. It's kind of like the opposites. I don't know if you're supposed to do that.
So you really want to feel out your fabric in your stretchy cloth.
And you know, honestly, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I'm going to do it that way anyway, just because that makes sense to me. See, it's very scientific. You know, it's common sense to me. Okay, so once I have this here, I'm going to bring it over to my trusty Oliso, remember, my awesome iron, and I'm going to fuse it. Now that I got it all nice and set, right? Get this here. I'm going to fuse it on. And when you fuse it, always test just to make sure. Oh yeah, it's a fusing good. Just fuse it on. So you get a nice stabilization of your t-shirt. You can use this for any non-cotton t-shirt or any non-cotton fabric. If you're doing, like we talked about last week, if you do Hawaiian shirts, rayon, anything polyester, anything that has more stretch. This is a knit, and the knit definitely has a lot more stretch to it. So that's why we need a stabilizer on it. Okay. So once I have that on there, the next thing I'm going to do is I need to cut it. And so you'll do this for all your 20 shirts. So you're going to, there's 20 t-shirts in this quilt, if, for instance, you only have 10 t-shirts, find a coordinating fabric that would go with it so that you can put those in the spots that don't have the t-shirt. That's an option. Another option would be to put signature blocks, pictures, that kind of thing. That would be fun for somebody who's going away to college, or someone graduating, or just a gift. It would be a great thing to have too, so you could do that. Now, I'm going to cut this into 10.5. What I need is I'm going to need my a ruler that is bigger than 10.5, or a 10.5 ruler. You do not want to use a 9.5. That's not going to work. You really need the 10.5 because you really need to see where you're centering your block here. So what I do is I'm going to take my painter's tape.
And there's another use for painter's tape?
There you go. There is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right on my 10.5. So I'm putting it right on my 10.5 here, and I'm also going to put it over here. Why do I do this, you ask me?
Why, Monique?
We're going to start calling it Why Wednesdays. Why the heck did you do that?
Well, Wednesday's not going to be a normal thing. It's going to be...
But that's true. It's Thursday. That's right. Ooh, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So remember, we're only doing this because of Thanksgiving.
Right.
Normally we do Thursday. So, but today it's Why Wednesday. How about that?
Yep.
Okay. Why did I do that? Well, because now I can see where my block or my logo will fit in, and I'm going to make sure it's centered as best as I can. Now, with this t-shirt, because it's a V-neck, I'm going to have to cut into my V here, which is okay. It's no big deal. But I'm going to have a little less here than here. I'm not going to worry about it. Remember, you're looking at the logo, you're not looking at the centering. But on the sides here, I'm going to look to see, make sure I'm centered on the side. And how I do that is, I see what my distance is. I have about an inch over here and an inch over there. So I'm actually going to scoot it over just a little bit. So now I have about an inch and a quarter and a little, there we go. So about an inch and an eighth on both sides. So an inch and an eighth. So you kind of see where your longest point or your widest points are, and that's where you're going to center from. You would normally do the top and the bottom the exact same way, but like I said, because of the fact that I have a V-neck, I'm going to have a little bigger here. And remember, if it's off a little bit, nobody's really going to notice. So I've got that, and then I'll just take my rotary cutter and cut it. And cut. Sorry, Dave. All right. Now that I've got that cut, I can take this off, turn it around, and line up my 10.5 right along there. And cut, and cut. And there, I have my t-shirt ready to rock and roll.
Nice.
Did you get the joke? Rock and roll.
Wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so once you have that done, you need to complete that. You want to see it a little closer.
Wow, let's see the fusible
back.
backing.
See the fusible backing.
See, that's going to make it nice for when it comes to sew, too, right?
Yes,
yeah.
It will not stretch when you're sewing. Like I said, because of the fusing, it will hold it down, so you'll get a nice, you can do your nice 1/4 inch. So this will
Plus
be...
it kind of presents a little bit better, too, right?
Yes, yeah, and the quilting will be so much easier. Your quilter, if you don't quilt your own, your quilter will thank you for it, because it will not stretch or buckle, or you won't get any puckers in your quilt because of it. So that's why, just because it's a different weave of fabric, it's more of a a knit compared to a flat cotton fabric. Okay, so that's how you do t-shirts. Remember, if you don't have 20 of them, you can use something else, but you want to get all these 20 ready. So you need 10.5-inch squares. Now, let me show you how I would do my logo. With this particular fabric, it's not that big of a deal that I need to center anything because it's got, I'm gonna press it over here, honey. I'm gonna press that so I get a nice edge here. So if you notice, there's no like logo that I need to center or anything. I've got quite a bit here that I can use, but I am gonna do this so it's nice.
You know what? I'm a Blackhawks fan, and you can cut this stuff up as much as you want.
Oh, honey, your Winnipeg relatives are not gonna like that.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how we cut this. It's pretty straightforward. What I will do is, like always, I'm going to square up my edge. So I'm going to take my number 1 on my ruler and line it up the bottom of my fabric and trim that off. And then what I will do is I'm going to use 2 rulers. Remember how I would do that so I don't have to worry about, like for instance, this ruler, yes, it has 10.5 on it, but it doesn't go my whole width of my fabric. So what I'll do is I'm going to use, this is where, remember, Mark was teasing me about my math, where I had to count the numbers, where it's better, what is it, measure twice, cut once.
You're right.
Another reason I always like to count is because I have rulers that have 6.5 inches and 6 inches. So I always want to make sure that which ruler I'm using. So I've got my 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5.
You mean to tell me you have more than one ruler?
Oh, just look here. Show them. Look, that's just like a small portion of my
Really?
rulers. Yes. Okay, so I'm lining it up on the 4 and this on the bottom and cut it. And then I would continue to cut my strips that way. And then what I'll do is I'm going to cut off my selvage. And now I can use my ruler, and I can even use my little lines or my tape that I used. So I cut, and then I'm going to, now see, this fabric is a little less than most. It's a little shy of 42, so I'm just gonna go and I'm going to open it up because I need to get as much as I can out of it. So open it up, and there I've got 3 of my squares. Okay. Any questions on that?
Well, I'm sure there is.
You sure there is? He's got to walk over. I'll walk over with you. How about that?
That sounds great.
So remember, if you haven't got your fabric yet, you can go ahead and get your fabric. The supply list is on there on my website, opengatequilts.com. It's under quilt-alongs. It's got the Jets logo quilt on there, so you want to make sure that you can go in there, print off your supply list, and then next week I want you to have all your t-shirts cut, fused, and then trimmed down. If you have another question on trimming down, I can do another one. I'll sacrifice, actually I think I'll get Mark to sacrifice a t-shirt so I can trim it down.
Question.
Yes.
What kind of rotary cutter do you use?
I use an OFA rotary cutter.
All right.
I love it. It is very sharp. The blade lasts a long time. There are ergonomically correct rulers. I do not use those. I'm so used to using this one. And one of the things that I taught beginning quilting for years, what I would always say is cut make sure you close your cutter, because I have nicked myself many times with the rotary cutter, and they're very, very sharp. So that's the rotary cutters I use. I like the OmniGrid rulers. That's what I use the most. Now Sue, who did the video for us a couple weeks ago, likes the OmniGrid. No, she likes the Creative Grid. Sorry, whoop. Creative Grid rulers. She likes it because it has the grips on this side, but it's all what you're used to. I like these because I like the yellow. Some people don't like the yellow. Just depends on what you're getting used to. So those are my tools. And somebody asked me what I have this for. I have like 3 or 4 rotary cutters, so this is actually a new blade. So I always know this one has my new blade. I'm getting the head shake from my husband. So my OCD coming through. So
Free stuff.
free. Okay, remember.
Well, I don't say free.
Right.
Contest time.
Contest. This is the contest. You can comment and share, and I will pick a name to draw for this pattern. Next time I will probably do this one. The question is, do we want the wall hanging, the table runner, which is reversible, remember?
That's awesome for the
Either
lazy
one.
people like, well, I'm lazy, so.
What's nice about it is that, you know, when you do a table runner, it only usually is one season, but this one you can do 2. So, and it really wasn't that difficult to quilt it as well. I did have my friend Leanne Olson quilt it. Hi Leanne. Awesome machine quilter, and what she did was she used a nylon thread on top, and she quilted it with this on top, and then on the back she used an orange cotton thread, so she could get the orange on the back. And then what she said she did was she just matched it up as best she could. I said, if it's off a little bit, nobody's gonna even know, so don't even worry about it. But it's a nice little table runner. This was actually in American Patchwork and Quilting, and you might check on their Christmas, allpeoplequilts.com, on their Christmas, they have a whole bunch of Christmas patterns. This was in there. You might be able to pull that off and start working on it if you want to work before we do. So this one, or that one, or both. Don't forget to comment, share, follow, like, all those fun things. What else was I going to tell them, honey? I had a couple other things. My brain always goes when I'm... oh yeah, make sure next week that you have your t-shirts ready or your motif fabric cut out. This is a free pattern. You can get it on my website, opengatequilts.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram too, at opengatequilts. And I think that's it. I wanted to be quick because I know everybody's ready for Thanksgiving.
Everybody's cooking right now.
Everybody's cooking. I can smell the turkey and the pumpkin pie right now. Sounds good. All right, everybody, have an awesome Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Quilt, bind, and enjoy.
And go Bears.